Kirchhoff's current law states that the algebraic sum of all the currents at any node point or a junction is zero. Okay, so let's draw a circuit first. This one resistor, this is another resistor, this point is called a node. Let us take the direction of different currents. This one is some current, let's take it as I1, then current I2, then current I3, then current I4. Okay, so at this node, let this node will be a B point. So what is the equation? Equation is sum of all the current at any node is equal to 0. Okay, so we can write here sum of I is equal to 0, and we can expand this I like this. I1, all the incoming current at a node B is equal to all the outgoing current at node B. So which one is the incoming current? I1 is incoming current, I2 is incoming current. So sum of all the incoming current, let's take an example, I1 plus I2. I1 plus I2 is equal to I3 plus I4, and we can rearrange it. I1 plus I2 minus I3 minus I4 is equal to 0, and we can write it as sum of all the current equal to 0. This is called a Kirchhoff's current law. So next is KVL. So the definition of Kirchhoff's voltage law is that it states that the algebraic sum of all the voltages or voltage drop in any closed path or a network that is transverse in a single direction is 0. In other words, in a closed circuit, the algebraic sum of all the EMFs and the algebraic sum of all the voltage drops, product of current and resistance is 0. Okay, so let's take an example and discuss it right here. So we have a resistance and some voltages, like V1 is voltage for this, and V2 is the voltage for this, and resistance R1 and resistance R2 is present in this circuit. So according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, what is the equation? We can write here sum of all the EMF plus sum of all the voltages is equal to 0. Okay, so sum of EMF is that voltage source. So we can write it as V1 plus V2, then voltage drop across this resistor. We can find out the voltage drop across this resistor according to Ohm's law. So what is Ohm's law? V is equal to I into R. Okay, so we can represent here I into R1 and plus I into R2, and we can take the sign convention right here. So we can write here minus I into R1 minus I into R2 is equal to 0. Okay. And we can rearrange this equation. V1 plus V2 is equal to IR1 plus IR2, and sum of all the voltages and EMFs is equal to 0. There's some resistor R1, then this resistor R2, then this resistor R3. There are three resistors connected between 2 points A and B. So how you can find out the overall resistance R total? How you can find? We can just add these resistance which are in series. So we can write here R1 plus R2 plus R3. So R total is sum of all the resistance which are connected in series. So next we will take an example for the parallel resistances. If we have some resistances like this, there is some resistor R1, then other resistor R2, these are connected parallelly. So how you can find out the whole total resistance R total? How you can find out R total resistance? Calculate right here is 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3 plus up to 1 upon Rn. So in this manner, we can find out the parallel resistance. There is two resistances connected in series. First resistance is R1, second resistance is R2. And we have connected these two resistances to the voltage V. Okay, and we have voltage drop right here is V1, and in across R2 resistor drop is V2. So how you can find out voltage V1 and how you can find out voltage V2? There is direct formula to find out voltage V1 and V2 using voltage division equation across R1. So we will take R1 resistor in the numerator and sum of all the resistances in the denominator. Okay, and multiply by the input voltage. If we have to find out voltage V2 across R2 resistor, then we will take R2 resistor in numerator and sum of all the resistances in denominator multiply by the input voltage. Okay. So in this manner, you can find out voltage V1 across R1 resistor and voltage V2 across R2 resistor. We have some voltage V, and there are two resistances connected parallel like R1 and R2. These two resistances are connected parallel. And here I is a current flowing through this circuit. I1 current flow through this branch and I2 current flow through this branch. So how you can find out direct voltage current in branch I1 and I2? There is direct equation or there is formula to find out current across R1 resistor and current across R2 resistor. How you can find? I have to find current I1. So if I have to find current I1, we have to take resistor R2 in numerator. Okay, so R2 divided by sum of all the resistances R1 plus R2 multiply by the input current I. Okay, if I have to find out current, if I have to find out current I2, then we have to take resistor R1 in the numerator. So I2 is equal to R1 divided by sum of all the resistances R1 plus R2 multiplied by the total current I. In this manner, you can find out the current in different branches using current divider equations. This is a direct current, or AC is alternating current. What is the difference between direct current and alternating current? First difference, they have given that direct current have frequency equal to 0, whereas alternating current have some frequency. In India, we use 50 hertz frequency for alternating current. Okay, clear? What is the next difference? Direct current represented in this manner. Okay, whereas alternating current represented in this manner. It has some positive and negative amplitude, but in case of direct current, there is no variation of positive and negative. And where we can use direct current, all the batteries which are used in motorcycles, cars, and in inverters, storage for electricity, in solar panels, these direct currents are used. Where we can use alternating current. Alternating current is used in our household, like you can see in our computer, we use direct current or alternating current. We use alternating current because in our household AC supply is given. Okay, so we will discuss this in detail. What is alternating current and how you can represent this alternating current. We can represent this alternating current in sinusoidal waveform like this. This is particular amplitude and this is frequency. So this signal varies at different time instances. So there are different terms for this alternating current we have to study. Okay, so for this alternating current, what is average value, what is peak value, what is form factor, these all terms we have to study right here. What is average value for this alternating current? Can anyone tell? This signal is divided into different time instances. Like for time t1, this amplitude represent t2, t3. There are different time amplitude right here. Okay. What is the average value? Clear? So an alternating current is produced by an electric generator. The electrical generator consists of a magnet and a loop of wire which rotate in a magnetic field of a magnet. The voltage which changes polarity at regular interval of time is known as alternating voltage. So what is generator? There are two magnets like this, and one wire is placed like this. Okay, so we can represent what we call this as a generator. So there is some North Pole, South Pole, and this rotor is given right here. So if magnetic flux passes from north to south, this rotor rotate in between these north and south poles. Okay, so these magnetic poles passes between north and south. Magnetic fields passes through this rotor, and this rotor rotate in anti-clockwise direction, axis for the rotation. Okay, so there are some slip rings, wire loops, and some conductors. When you do the experiment, then you will learn how we can take the experiment for this magnetic field in your experiments. So there is some north pole, south pole. We place a magnet in between these north pole and south pole. We pass the magnetic field from north to south pole. Then this rotor rotate through its axis, and with the help of these slip ring and carbon brushes, electricity is produced. So when this rotation of the magnet between these axes, it produce positive and negative lobe. Okay, so from particular this point to this point, it produce positive half cycle. From this point to this point, it produce negative half cycle. Okay, for generation of AC sinusoidal, we need a conductor which is placed between two magnets. After placing conductor, when alternating poles are generated in magnets, initially conductor is at zero state position, so there will be no generation of AC signals. No conductor rotates with 45-degree angle, so it cut the flux. Okay, after cutting flux, an EMF will be generated and conductors start rotating. Clear? Any doubt about this operation? Again, it moves with 90-degree. So at that condition, there will be maximum flux cutting action. So maximum EMF will be induced. So there are two positions. At first position, the flux cut at 45-degree angle, and second point, the flux cut at 90-degree. So when these plates are placed right here, are perpendicular to the flux, maximum flux cut at this point. Okay, and maximum flux will cut and it rotate fast at that point. Okay, it continues again and further it reaches at point 0. Then EMF will be 0. Now it moves in negative direction with 45-degree angle. So at this point, after this point, it again rotates in the negative direction with 45-degree angle. Okay, and EMF will be induced, so it will be given negative value. So during the positive half cycle, first angle is taken as a 45-degree angle. First angle is taken 45. At this point, it is 90-degree at the maximum stage of flux. That's why it's a maximum amplitude right here. After that, it again moves toward the negative direction with 45-degree angle. Okay, and after reaching at point this 0 position, it gives negative value. This gives negative value, and again it reaches at maximum level at angle of 90-degree. So this will give maximum negative amplitude at this point. Again, it decreases with the angle of 45 degree and increases after 0 point. Okay, and at this stage it reaches at 90 degree, maximum flux cut at this position and maximum amplitude appear at this stage. And this process goes on. In this manner, this alternating current will be generated with the help of this generator. So there is a simple operation right here. There are two magnets. One magnet is a north pole and another magnet is a south pole. We place a magnet in between these two magnets, and we pass magnetic flux from north pole to south pole. Then this rotor rotates in anti-clockwise direction. Initially at position 0 there is a no flux, then it increases with the angle of 45 degree and flux increases and its amplitude also increases at this stage. At angle of 90 degree, maximum flux cut, because at 90 degree maximum flux cut at this position. Okay, so maximum amplitude appear at this point. After that, again with an 45 degree it decreases, then some 0 position there is a negative flux is generated because of this position, and this process goes on and alternating current is generated at this position. We take a resistor, simple resistor, and we give the input supply to this resistor. Voltage is V is equal to Vm sine of omega t, and this is simple resistance. So how you can represent this signal? This signal, we can represent this signal is B is equal to, let's take the maximum amplitude as a Bm. Okay, this is the maximum amplitude Bm. So how you can represent this signal? Voltage Bm sine of omega t. Sine is this signal. Okay, omega t is angle for this signal. Omega t is an angle, and Bm is the amplitude for this signal. Clear? And t is the time instant which this signal is varying. Okay, t is equal to IR. B is equal to IR. So how you can calculate I? I is equal to V upon R. So what is the voltage right here? What is the voltage right here? Voltage is Bm sine of omega t. Okay, and resistance is R. So we can represent voltage across particular resistor Vm upon R sine of omega t. Okay, so current at maximum amplitude, at this amplitude, so Bm is equal to, what is the value for sine omega t right here? At the maximum amplitude, what is the value for sine omega right here? We take omega t right here as a 90 degree. Okay, so 90 degree is equal to, so 90 degree is equal to, sine 90 is equal to 1. Okay, so we can rearrange this equation. V is equal to Vm upon R into sine of omega t. Omega t is a 90 degree at this point, maximum amplitude. So we put the value of omega t as a 90 So at the maximum amplitude, voltage is equal to Vm upon R into 1. So maximum value for this voltage is Vm upon R. Okay. So in this manner, you can find out the voltage for this circuit. So in the next lecture, we will discuss the derivation and some basic terms like what is average value for the alternating current, what is the RMS value for the alternating current, how you can find out the derivation for resistive, capacitive, and inductive components for this alternating circuits.